How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make yourself look like the Heath Ledger version of the Joker, using Photoshop, of course. This is just a spin-off of what I did a couple weeks ago to try and Photoshop yourself to look like Pennywise from the It movie. So let's get started. I do want to just apologize that I haven't put a tutorial up or uploaded anything in the last couple of weeks. I have been sick, so my voice just wasn't well enough to do the voiceover for a video. However, it is nearly 100% now, so yeah, I wanted to throw something up as soon as possible. So let's jump right into this. So I'll just show you what I have here. This promo Why So Serious photo of Heath Ledger as the Joker. So yeah, just did a quick pose here to try and give that same positioning of that photo. First thing that I'm going to want to do, I want to cover up everything surrounding the face, so I only want the face highlighted in here. The way I'm going to do that is by creating a new layer, and I'm going to want to fill it black. So this is going to take a few steps, but let's then give that layer a clipping mask. Make sure that's highlighted. Grab the brush tool, and you're going to also want the black color for that. This might be a little bit too big. Let's shrink that a bit. So 1400 is about good. And let's just start filling in the areas that we want to highlight. So that should be good. Just want to point out that that brush had a hardness of 0. We want that feather around it so it doesn't look like it's cut out. So now that we have that, I'm just going to lock it in place. So now that we have that, let's click the background layer, and we just want to create a black and white adjustment layer. So just like the It video, we want to bring up those reds and yellows. We just want the white to really stand out in the face. Now, we do have a clipping mask on here, so I just want to click on that clipping mask, and I want to zoom in, grab the brush tool again. Let's drop the brush size down. I've got it down to 67 here, that'll do. Set to black. And I just want to color out the eyes here. So I want the original eye color to show. Really to show the reds and the red tones around the eye and around the skin. And since we're here, let's just do the same with the lips. We're going to come back and revisit the lips, but for me, it helps me visualize it a little bit better. If we look at the original photo, you'll notice that he's got some eyebrows here, but they're covered. And on my face, mine are a little bit too dominant, so I actually just want to get rid of my eyebrows completely. What I want to do is create a duplicate of the background, so if I hit Command or Control J, that'll create a copy of that, and that's exactly what I want. Because I always want to keep a copy of the original in this file, just in case I have to go back for any reason. So now that I've created a copy, I want to take my patch tool and basically just cut out the eyebrows. So I'm just going to draw a round area on there. So it's good. So we just want to clean it up. We don't want any dark areas in there if we can manage. Okay, and the same for here. This one's going to be a little bit harder because my eyebrow is actually touching my eyelid there in the photo, but not in real life. So same idea here. It's going to come out a bit darker, but we'll manage. It's fine. So we just want to cut those defined edges out. So we just really want to blend that. Oops. We just really want to blend that. I'm actually going to undo that because I've got too much in near the middle of the eye. So it's kind of what it looks like if we turn that black and white layer off. This actually might be a little bit easier. That's pretty scary. Let's turn that back on. It's freaking me out a bit. Okay. Again, just to help me visualize a little bit more, I want to get some of the other details in here. I'm going to want to create a new layer above the black and white layer. Then I want to grab the brush tool Let's make it a little bit bigger, and I just want to get the color into the hair there. So make sure we're still underneath the black layer at the top here. We created that mask. And then we're going to want, I actually have it set here, but we're going to want to get a green fill. So I'm using RGB values 23, 117, and 1. And it gives a pretty good color. So if we just paint directly on here, we're just going to get that solid green. So I'm just going to do that. And I just want to fill in my hair. We are going to switch it to overlay anyways. We hit overlay, then you can see I've got the green hair in there. So what I want to do here, just because in the original promo photo, had I prepared for the photo a little bit better, it would have covered my ears, but I don't like my ears sticking out there, so I'm actually going to cover that part up. So I just want to go back to this top black layer, and let's unlock it. Click the mask, and I just want to go back to the paintbrush tool, and I want to start covering up. So let's change the color back to white, and then just start filling out those areas. I'm going to increase the brush here. 1,000 we'll try. Okay, and then let's just start filling in those areas. There we go. That, so let's now get black, and let's really show the hair color here. Get a smaller brush for that. Okay. You'll notice that as I expose some of the under layers, I'm going back and I'm just retouching those up to cover up more of the background because I don't want that showing. So the next thing that I want to do is find the blemishes on the face, and we want to start duplicating it. So I've got this wrinkle right here, and basically what I want to do is go back to that background layer again. I want to duplicate that layer, so Command J. I'm actually going to rename these just so we can, just to help us keep track of it. So this was the eyebrow adjustments. And then this one is going to be, just call it wrinkles for now. So let's take this wrinkle right here, and we just want to duplicate it. Sorry guys, first we're going to want to draw where we're going to want to duplicate it. So let's just draw another one. Let's bring that down so we can see we've got that right there. Now we can, and I'm actually going to try duplicating that. So hit Command J, and I want to do an edit, transform, and flip horizontal. And I'm just going to, wrong brush, let's lock, sorry, selected the wrong layer because I have my auto select turned on. So let's just lock any of the top layers that we're not using anymore. So let me go back and get this wrinkle, and I'll just put it here, and we'll basically just want to grab the eraser tool and blow it up quite a bit and make sure that hardness is dropped down, and let's just start getting rid of the edges there. There we go. So it just helps it blend a little bit more. And then I actually want to merge that with the wrinkles. So let's make sure we select that layer that we just created and merge it with the wrinkles layer below. So make sure they're both selected, double click and hit merge layers. And there we go. So again, using that same one, let's grab some of those blemishes that are right underneath the eye. So we've got one right there. Again, we're using the patch tool to do this. So let's just draw some on the face where we want to copy that over and just drag it. You can see we're creating those blemishes here. We'll just get one right there, wrinkle there. Let's try and put something on the forehead with those wrinkles. Just want to turn off this black and white again and see what we've done here. So when we do that, we just want to make sure we get all the edges blended really well. We don't. It is a patch. We want it to blend in. The black and white adjustment layer will help with that, and we'll also draw a little bit more on here. Okay, perfect. Let's turn the black and white layer back on. And what I want to do, let's see if we can actually extend these wrinkles on the forehead a little bit. So make sure you have that layer selected, and let's go down here to the Smudge Tool. And I've got it set to 12. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's just see how we can stretch these out. So pay attention to what your strength is here. I have it set to 37%. If I wanted to go kind of carry on, I usually do it at about an 80 or 90%, but sometimes that can be too far. So that's a bit too far. So let's take it down to about 60. Let's just drag it through. Try and get it a little bit straight just to follow the outline of the. So as you can see, we got a bit of an outline smudge there. So I'm just going to take that patch tool again and just help blend that a bit. Just blend the edges. Alright, let's work on the mouth next. So we go down here, let's create a new layer and grab the brush tool. Let's get a smaller brush about the size of the lip. Let's change the color to the red. We want to get a little bit of a darker red. So this red is about a D60000. So first I just want to do a quick outline with these lips. So if we went with a multiply, well, I think that's perfect actually. Let's just carry it out a bit. So the reason why we're just getting the dark shade here instead of carrying that red out is because we're underneath the black and white. We've only created a mask for that area of the lip. So let's actually just move this lip layer above the black and white layer, and there we go. Let's rename this to lips. And while we're here, let's rename the hair to hair. Oh, sorry guys. That layer was renamed when we merged the two layers. It automatically took the name of the top layer when we merged the duplicated wrinkle that we made earlier on. So again, let's just take this red, let's bring it out. So go back to the lip layer, let's bring this red out a little bit more on each side. And basically what we're going to want to do, this doesn't have to be perfect, I mean Joker's lips are not perfect, the lipstick is smudged. But what we're going to want to do is, if we zoom right in here, we can see just the edge of the lip. We want to copy that over. So let's go back to that wrinkles layer. So basically what I want to do, and this will probably work better if I turn the lip layer off. So what I'm doing here is actually creating this stitched look right here, where it looks like it's scarred up and on the lips going straight up the face. Really, the approach that I'm using here is taking the edge of the lip, each side of the lip, and just duplicating that across the face, and we'll get that stitched look. So let's just create that piece again. So we're just following that line. So just taking details from the lip itself and carrying them through. You gotta just get a bit creative with this and how you want to extend it. Just turn that lip layer off, you can see it created that. So now that we have that pattern, we can actually just duplicate it all. So let's create that patch in that area. Just pull that over. So that's okay there. Let's do the same on this side. Let's turn those lips back on. Perfect. Okay, so now that the lips are back on, let's grab the Smudge Tool. And we want to drop it down from 60. Let's drop it down to about a 25%. And just start smudging away. You can play with the strength. You can jump it up. I'll jump it up to about a 35% now. So play around with your the strength level. So I mean, mine's looking a little bit featherish right now. So what I want to do is really swirl this around here. So his is going straight off to the edge of his face, so let's just bring that over here. I mean, that's looking okay right now. Let's go with that. If we duplicate that lip layer, so Command J, we'll see it get a little bit darker because we're on the multiply layer effect. We could adjust the opacity, but what I want to do here is grab the blur tool. There it is. And let's just start blurring that. We're at a 68% strength here. And then let's grab the smudge tool again, and let's just start smudging the second layer there. We'll get some different tones in. Alright, so let's just take the opacity down a little bit with that. Let's put it at about an 80%. And that'll do. Perfect, that'll do. So now we want to bring out those scar marks. So let's go back to that wrinkles and let's create the wrinkles layer here, and let's duplicate that layer so we have another copy. Now let's grab our burn tool. So the burn tool will just really darken up all of the details. So let's just increase the brush size there. And let's start darkening. We really want to darken up these blemishes and these wrinkles. But the biggest thing we're going to want to do here is the eyes. So how do we get the dark spots around the eyes like the Joker has in this picture? Well, that's going to be done using this burn tool. So with that wrinkles copy, let's just start burning around the eyes. So just draw around the eyes. You'll have to click a few times. Let's see here, let's do our other eye. Now keep in mind when we look at the original photo here, it's not as top heavy as it is bottom heavy. So we'll fix that. Let's just get the shading there the way we want it. So make sure we get up here, the corners is where it really shines in the bottom. So just, if we take a look at the layer effects and we put this to multiply, you can really see that darken up, and that's essentially what we want here. So now that we have that, let's create a clipping mask on that wrinkles layer. And let's fill it black. Try that again. Let's fill it black so that we're not exposing anything. Now grab the brush tool. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's make sure our color that we're going to be brushing is white, and just start filling in around the eyes again. We only want to expose the dark areas around the eyes. We don't want to expose any other area on the face. Let's just get those areas in. Now that we have those areas filled, let's just clean up the top so that we don't have as much as the top part darkened. We just want that bottom and the sides really dominating the dark spots on the face. So let's turn this back to black, and let's just start removing. So you can compare that to this one. I think we're just missing a little bit too much on this side, but I think we don't. There we go. So let's just put a little bit more back, just above the eye. So this could take some time to really perfect here, but that's all we're doing. The other thing that we're going to want to do is burn the eyeball, the eye color, so that it's more of a black to a dark brown. So we should be able to achieve that just by filling in the eye, just making sure we've got, from that original layer, let's just make sure that part of the mask is not filled in so that we're exposing the darkness there. What we do really want to expose is those red areas, the veins and the eyelids here. We want to really expose that. So let's just reduce the brush size here and turn it back to the black. And we actually want to get a really small brush size in here and just like make sure that the white and the pink and red areas are really exposed. So this side is actually pretty good the way that we have it. What I want to do here also is create a color correction. So right above we don't want it on the lips, right above the black and white adjustment layer, let's create a color balance adjustment layer. And let's bring up those reds. There we go. Same deal, we want to fill the clipping mask black so we're not exposing everything. Grab the brush tool, get a slightly bigger size, and start filling in the eye area with the white because we want that red to stand out. So that can actually go down just a bit. Let's drop the opacity a little bit. That works. And now that I look at this eye needs to be blended a little bit more. So let's grab the wrinkles copy, which we're going to actually want to turn into black. Let's put black spots. And let's just start, make sure we've got the clipping mask selected, and let's just start filling that in so it's a little bit more natural. So we can use a smaller brush because the feather is taking up a bit too much space there. Yeah. So really what I would do here is, let's try one thing here. If we duplicate the black spots, they come in even blacker. So depending on how black we really want this, we could do that. I'm actually going to keep that, but I'm going to drop the opacity down quite a bit. Which will be 45% there. So again, you can see he's got a lot of, like, his eyes are pretty white. I think ours are becoming a little bit too red. So let's go in and let's turn that black spots copy off and go to the original one, and let's just expose some of the original eye on there. And that way we'll get more of the white in, but we need the black in there. You just want to get that white color out more. So we don't want to show more of the green, so let's just make sure we keep that colored in as much as we can. That dark eye color. Same with the other side here. You know what, we're going to turn off that color balance right now. Let's not use it. Let's start off with the original again. Let's grab the smudge tool. It depends on the size of your photo, but we want this to be really narrow streaks. And let's try with 35%, should be good. Sorry, strength, but let's jump strength up to about an 80%. So jumping back to that mask, not the image, let's grab that smudge tool and start. So if we look at the original image, we can see where this is really coming down towards the nose, and there's almost like a spider web. So let's just try and create that here. We'll have to just switch back and forth from the image to the actual mask and see where we need to start pulling from, or start smudging from. So again, we still want it to look a little bit more natural, so we need to, let's grab a bigger brush here and just kind of smudge this down. That's kind of what that photo is doing. The original. Sorry guys, I am hitting Command Z here. I just want to get the perfect streak there, which is why I'm, probably have to go a little bit smaller. Let's go take it back down to about 7 and start. So let's turn that top black spot layer back on. Kind of see what we did here. So that's pretty good there. What we're going to want to do now is actually expose the black and white adjustment layer, expose the colored part of that in these areas. So if we take the brush tool again, make sure we have the black and white unlocked, adjustment layer unlocked. So a few things we can do. Let's actually drop the opacity of the brush down to about a 25. And let's kind of follow where we've done those wrinkles, just to get a bit more of that human tone in there. And then let's take the blur tool and let's just blur what we've done there. So let's darken up some of those details. The wrinkles layer we have here got going on here, and let's take the burn tool again and let's just start highlighting those areas. Let's get that shadow under the nose going there. That's we've got that shadow on the original image as well. And yeah, let's do those. So I actually think that we're probably going to want to take that black and white adjustment layer and let's just see what a Gaussian blur looks like on that. Yeah, perfect. Actually, that's exactly what I want right here. We're just exposing a little bit of the natural color. So I've got it about a 10 pixel radius. Hit OK. I think we need to add a couple more wrinkles to the forehead here. So let's just go back to that wrinkles layer. So let's just copy those wrinkles over. Basically take that patch tool again, just outline, draw around where we want to place some more. And then just drag and let's see where we can take it from there. So that's pretty good. Then we're going to want to do the same thing to that black and white adjustment layer. So let's draw around that wrinkle. Let's take it down to that colored part. Perfect. So we're just exposing that color on here. So what I'm going to want to do, because now that I'm looking at the original, we can see that his forehead wrinkles, the original forehead wrinkles, are not as dominant as they are on ours. So we're going to want to lighten those up a bit. So basically all we're going to want to do is create a mask on that. And grab the brush tool, let's blow it up a bit. 100 is good, and make sure you've got the black color selected. And our opacity is at 25%, so that's perfect. So let's just start coloring over these. So just so they're less exposed. And I do think they need to be a little bit bigger, so I'm actually going to come back to this wrinkles layer. Let's try seeing if the smudge tool will do for us again. So let's just make that a bit bigger, and let's just try pulling them over. But make sure we've got the right layer selected. So go back to that wrinkles. Let's just try and bring those over. Again, there's a little bit too dominant there, but maybe let's do a bit more here. Perfect. And then let's go back to that black and white layer, because they're playing a bit too white, and let's just try and take it down like 5%. Went to 95, and then we got a little bit more of that natural skin tone showing. Take the sharpen tool, that's what we need. So sharpen, and let's sharpen around the eyes so that they really stand out. Let's sharpen the edges of the nose, and let's sharpen all of those blemishes. Sharpen the scar. It's a bit too much. Once it starts getting grainy, we're doing too much. So let's sharpen those scars here. Sharpen the lips. We can sharpen the forehead a little bit. So we are getting really grainy here, and that's okay, because if you look at the image, the original is quite grainy. It's part of the texture of the skin, so that's okay. And that's pretty much it. That is how you Photoshop yourself to look like the Joker. Let me know what you guys think. Upload your versions. I'd love to see them. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'll be doing more of these, especially throughout the month of October. Hope you guys enjoy it. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.